New home sales are extremely volatile right now. If you wound back time to 2020 and 2021, you would have been hard pressed to even get yourself through the front door of a new development home site. But today, June 2024, times have changed significantly. Builders are almost begging you to come through that front door and give them an offer on a property that they need to get working on immediately. So in today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to go over an article that we have here from stories.com, breaking down what's happening in new development. Once we've gone through this article here, I'm going to give you my 2 cents, let you know what I think is happening, and kind of give you my projection for the next little while in the real estate market, how new home sales look versus resale, and potentially what is the better bang for your buck if you are a buyer in today's real estate market. Once again, my name is Mike Carpino. If you want to book a discovery call and figure out maybe if we're the right match or if I can help you in any way in the real estate industry, click the first link in the description. We can book a 30-minute consultation call where we can see if we do line up in any way. So let's get into the video today. I've got the article here. It'll pop up right in front of my face and we will go right through what the article says. So May was the second lowest month for new GTA home sales since 1990. We're talking a 24-year time span at which the new development has been doing fairly well, but now we're at a low in 24 years. So data released by the building industry and land development today shows that new home sales in the GTA continued to slow last month, nearly reaching May 2020 pandemic levels, the single lowest month on record. So obviously pandemic started March 2020 and the world shut down. Obviously, that's why we had the lowest month in record. There's nothing going on today, pandemic-wise, that would cause this, but we do have an economic crisis currently happening, and that is where a lot of this is starting to rise from. So the data released by the building industry and land development, they're calling it the build, today shows that new home sales in the GTA continued to slow in the last month, nearly reaching May 2020 pandemic levels. Year-to-date sales from January to May 24 also show a record-breaking 39% drop below year-to-date sales from January to May of 2009. So we're not talking like a small difference between 2009. We're talking a 39% decrease, which is massive. And that was the last recession in Canadian history. So this is the second lowest month since May 2020, which was obviously that pandemic year. And it's being stated that this is all because of interest rates. So let's dive in here. The numbers came in at a mere 936 new home sales in May, down 71% from last May and 71% below the 10-year average, according to data from the Atlas Group. Of 936 sales, 539 were condo apartments, down 75% once again from May 2023, and 75% below the 10-year average. 397 were single-family homes, which was down 65%, so slightly less from May 2023, and 61% below the 10-year average. So let's take a look at the two charts they have here. So we've got charts that are showing us the current month sales, and then we've got charts that are showing us the year-to-date sales. So if you're just tracking these here, as you can see, you know, we are extremely low, 936 current month sales. If we're just looking at the past years here, it is unbelievable to see the drop off between 2023, 2022. Wow, so some substantial fall offs in the numbers here, as you can see in the charts. And then that 10-year average line, we are so far below that 10-year average line. We're closer to zero than that 10-year average line. And in addition to new home remaining inventory stays exceedingly high with an increase of 20,427 units, representing a combined inventory level of 14.5 months based on the average sales in the last 12 months. Wow. So generally a balanced market is 3 to 4 months of inventory, and we have 14 and a half months of inventory, just to put that in perspective for you. So big difference between where we should be and what we're at. The continuing record lows in new home sales is a flashing check engine light on the dashboard, said Sherwood in a media release. Today's sales are tomorrow's starts. It is inevitable that we are entering further tight supply conditions in the next 2 to 3 years. Sherwood identifies rising building and ownership costs to be the drivers of the decline in the housing market. Not only are the high interest rates keeping buyers on the sidelines, which we already know, but higher rates are making financing for new projects more difficult and more expensive. The new home industry in the GTA is slowing down precipitously, and new home supply in 2025 through 2027 time period will definitely reflect this. And to finish it off, as for the home prices, after increasing in April to 1,056,000, benchmark condo prices dropped slightly to 1,043,000 in May, and the single family home prices dropped slightly once again from 1.617 to 1.612, down 5% and 7% over the last 12 months respectively. The decline follows a month-long trend of home prices slowly inching down as a result of an oversaturated market. But we could be reaching the limit, SherwoodTellsStories.com. I'm not sure how much further these home prices can slide, simply because of the tremendous increase in the cost of land, construction, and materials. In the media release, Sherwood calls on the government to take action and boost the troubled housing market that we have here in the GTA to avoid further lack of supply driven price appreciation. We need all parties and all levels of government here, including the CMHC, to sit down and collaborate and arrive at a solution that will help everybody in the GTA. So after looking at this article, if we've been paying attention at all to the Greater Toronto real estate market, we know it's not a shock that we have a little bit of a crisis on our hands here. There is so much inventory on the new build side that we don't really know what to do with it. We're seeing builders throw away vehicles, from a Tesla to a Mercedes, to financing plans that are lower than the current posted rates, to free incentives, and they are just piling on things to get you through that front door. However, when you are buying a new build project, a lot of the time you're required to put more down payment than you are if you're buying a resale project. And if this is the case, if you're a first-time home buyer, you're trying to buy with as little down as possible for the most part. A lot of home buyers want to just get into the market for the lowest entry cost. And if you need to have a minimum of 10 to 20% down for a new build, you may not have that $100,000 to $150,000 to have as your down payment. So that right off the bat might be your first barrier of entry. The other barrier of entry that people are going to have is they might need housing today. And if you need housing today, a new build just isn't going to suffice. You don't want to wait for the soonest you're going to get in there is probably 8 to 12 months if they've already started cracking ground. But the reality is you might be waiting 3 to 4 years to get into the project or get into that development site. You may not want to wait that long. So that is issue number 2 with new development. And issue number 3 is the cost. The cost to build a lot of these projects is quite a bit higher than it was 3 to 5 years ago. And that's built into these prices that we're seeing across the board from the builders. They're having to incorporate all of that, of course, into their listing prices, but it's not leaving a lot of wiggle room for people to get into new development and potentially make some money on that investment as well. They're basically buying at a price that they're hoping it's worth when they move in a few years. And if that's the case, you might as well just get into resale. And that brings up the other issue is there is a ton of resale inventory as well. So let's say you are looking for your first condo in the Greater Toronto area. You can just basically throw a stone and find a good deal out there at the moment because there's a lot of sellers who have had their condos on the market for a significant amount of time now, and they really just want to get rid of that product, especially if they're an investor and they want to avoid a lot of these capital gains going forward with the new changes that have just been implemented. They might just be saying, I want to get my hands clean of any of my investment properties and move on. So there's a lot of issues happening right now. We really need to just weigh the options, whether it's a new build issue, if it's a inventory issue altogether, or is it actually a interest rate issue? Are the interest rates really too high for people to be able to afford anything in this current climate? Some say yes, some say no. It does depend really on the amount of down payment that you've been able to save up. If you have a sizable down payment, you're able to kind of chunk it down and make those payments more affordable for yourself, then maybe the interest rates are not a big issue. What I think one of the major barriers is, though, is the qualifications that you need to actually get your mortgage. You are going to be qualifying 2% higher than the posted rates. If we can remove some of these qualifications, it's possible we might get a little bit easier qualifications for people so they can get into the market. Me personally, I have a lot of buyers who are waiting to get into the market, but they're not finding it's the right time. Surprisingly, even with all this inventory, it's not getting them to pull that trigger because the payments have not changed significantly. And we need to really see some of these prices come back down. If your average condo is still well in that 500 to 600 range outside of Toronto, it's not cheap enough. Even if you're putting $100,000 down, to have a $450,000 to $500,000 mortgage is still a pretty penny every single month. So going forward, it'll be interesting to track the inventory here to see if it does change at all. This is a new development article. We have a lot of the same issues going on in the condo resale area as well, but we'll have to see what the next 6 months brings. It's possible we get another rate reduction at the end of July, although the employment data did not look good the other day. So I'd love to know in the comment section down below, what is your opinion? Is new build something that you would risk purchasing right now, or would you just go resale if you were going to make the purchase? And some people, they just may think it's not a good time to buy real estate at all, and I understand that point of view as well. Thanks so much for watching this video. We have broken down another article here. If there's another topic you want us to cover, drop it in the comment section down below, and it will be our next video to come up on the channel. Hope you have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.